Hello everyone, Catweazle here. Welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Eldritch Horror and the Masks of Nyarlathotep, where we're just about to start turn 11. Now, last turn I'm not aware of any mistakes for a change, and I think we can crack on. Well, if there were any mistakes, there weren't anything major, so I think we can just crack on with turn 11. Now, our first player for this turn is going to be Carson Sinclair. So let's move into the action phase. And here we are with Carson. So what's he going to do for his first action? Well, his first action, he is going to rest. And what we've got to remember is he's on the same space as Daniela. They're both in Sydney. And she has an ally who is the lodge physician. So you and other investigators on your space may recover 1 additional health or discard an illness or injury condition. We haven't got illness or injury, but we can take advantage of that extra health, and Carson is going to do that. So he's going to get 2 health and a sanity for resting. Puts him up to 5 sanity, but he now has 6 health. So he is fully healed, which is excellent news. What's he going to do for his second action? Well, for his second action, he is just going to gain a focus. We're going to keep him in Sydney. If things go completely pear-shaped, in the next turn, we'll probably have to send him into Space 21 to try and get rid of the Haunter of the Dark. But hopefully it won't come to that. So we'll just leave him in reserve in sunny Sydney. So he's got a focus token. He might need that during the encounter phase. Remember, even if we do kill the Haunter of the Dark, we do not win this game until the end of the Mythos phase. So we've got to go through all of our encounters and the Mythos phase as well before we can win this game, even if we manage to kill that epic monster. Okay, that's it for Carson. That means next up we have Preston. And here we are with Preston in Tokyo. He's going to stay in Tokyo. Same reason as last turn. We may get a good Tokyo encounter, be able to take out either the Haunter in the Dark, if Agatha wasn't able to do it, or at least put a hurt in on, say, the Cultist, the Shan, what else have we got? The Star Vampire and the Star Spawn. So we'll keep him in Tokyo for the time being. First of all, obviously he's going to acquire assets, so that's 7 dice, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He also gets a resource, and he's going to use his philanthropy to get himself another resource. So he's got 2 resources through his passive and his personal story, and now he's going to roll and acquire some assets. And he gets 1, 2, 3 successes, 5 in total with the resources he has there. What is he going to pick up? Well, I think he'll pick up the chainsaw because 1, it's mad as a box of frogs and I love it. So we're going to take that. That may come in useful if things go pear-shaped. He will also take the treasured memento. And once per round, when you spend a focus, you may gain a focus. We'll take that. We'll leave the cat burglar and the hired muscle where they are. So he only spent 1 resource there, so this one can go on his player tray. We'll put those up here. And we have to draw some replacements. So we need 2 replacement assets. Let's do the usual. We'll do this cut near the top for a change. And we get an alchemical concoction, cost of 1, item magical. You may discard this card to gain +5 strength in a combat encounter. Very good. And we also get the arcane scholar, cost of 2, ally, gain +1 law. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a law test. Good ally, I like the arcane scholar. The alchemical concoction is brilliant. So, that'd have been really good. But perhaps we can have somebody pick that up if it's required. Right, so that is his first action. What is his second action going to be? Let's put this back in the supply. Don't leave it on the board, Paul. And consulting my notes, his second action is he's going to rest. So that's going to gain him a single health. He is not on the same spot as Daniela. So he moves up to 4 health. Just in case he has a nasty, nasty encounter phase. Okay, that is it for Preston. Next up, we have Daniela. And here we are with Daniela back in Sydney. I've also brought those winning dice down, but they're not for Daniela because Daniela isn't going to be rolling anything. First of all, what she's going to do is she is going to rest. She's got the lodged physician, remember, so that means she gets 2 health and she also gets a sanity. That puts her up to 5 health and 4 sanity. She is our backup for this monster this turn. So that means she actually has to get up there. So what she's going to do for a second action is, just put that out of the way, she's going to go to space 21. And I'll move that a bit up there, give us a bit more room. So she's moved up there, getting ready to attack this monster should she be required. That is it for her particular action phase. Next up, we have Agatha. And here we are with Agatha, and I've moved some of the stuff in here that we're probably going to use. Hopefully we won't use the Promise of Power, but that is a re-roll. So, and we can re-roll as many dice as we want with that, and then discard it. So we've got those 3 that we brought down from Preston's Acquire Assets. She is, first of all, she's got to move. So she's got to get on the same space first, so she will follow Daniela, and they've gone to the Australian outback. With her second action, what she's going to do is call the storm. So it is choose a monster on your space and test law -1. Well, her law is 10, -1 is 9. We've got 3 dice there. 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 6 more. We'll grab these, and 2 successes would be nice. Remember, we don't need that 3rd success because we had a look at the back of the card last turn. So, come on. This one to get rid of it. And, yes indeed, we've got a cocked one there. It was a 4, we'll roll it again, just in case. We have got 3 successes anyway. It's going to continually cock, isn't it? Just to be awkward. No, we got a 4th success. There you go. Right. So we'll move that a bit out of the way now. So that was brilliant. We didn't need the Promise of Power reroll. We can put that back because we may have to roll on that. We may get a reckoning during the Mythos phase, which we're going to have to do. We'll flip this over, but it's 2+, Raging Tempest, hungers for another victim, but there wasn't another monster on that space, so it's fine. We can just turn that back, put it back with the spells. Similarly, Grotesque Compendium is no longer needed. We did succeed. Because she passed a law test, that means she gets a clue. So there we go. She gains a clue. And additionally, the most important thing was she put another 3 damage on the Haunter of the Dark. The Haunter of the Dark is now dead. Hurrah! So that is brilliant news. We've got rid of this, and that is the end of that particular adventure. We'll just check that we're doing everything correctly. So what I'll do is just grab the adventure card and have a read. So, at the end of the Mythos phase, if the Haunter of the Dark epic monster has been defeated, complete this adventure. And when this adventure is completed, we solve the active mystery and we win the game. But we've got to get to the Mythos and survive the Mythos first. But that is great news. It also means that Daniela doesn't have to weigh in, or Preston particularly. But we'll carry on, we'll do the encounter phase and we'll see what happens. That's it for the action phase. Next up, it is the encounter phase. And here we are at the encounter phase. Our first player is Carson. So what's Carson going to do? He's going to have a Sydney encounter. We did generic encounters last turn and they didn't do us too much good. So let's just do a Sydney encounter. Now the Haunter of the Dark is no more. We've kept those nice dice from Agatha's Call of Storm. And we'll use them if we have to. So let's do a quick cut and see what Carson has to put up with. Sydney. Legends tell of a powerful object that will appear when the stars are right. You use the observatory to find it. Law -1. So his law is actually 3. -1. That will give him 2 dice. Is there anything else that will help him? Just checking. No, the ritual dagger is only spell effects, lucky cigarette case, and the Eye of Light. And his focus. Right, so there we go. We'll pop those in there, just in case we have to use them. And 2 dice, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 -1. And he gets a success, so we don't even have to do any re-rolls. He gets a 6. Let's have a look. If you pass, the stars guide you well. Gain 1 weapon artifact. Ooh, an artifact. And we didn't fail. So, brilliant. And I could actually put that deck away because the others are on a wilderness space. So, we'll get this out ready just as we're finishing things off. Right. So, weapon artifact, so we need the artifact deck, which is up here. So, there we go. Quick shuffle, quick cut, and then we'll just go from the bottom till we get to a weapon artifact. Satchel of the Void, no. Xantha tablets, no. Crux of Cycronosh, no. Black fan, no. A grotesque statue, no. Silver key, no. Pentacle to plains, no. Heart of winter, no. A black book, no. Flute of the outer gods, no. Book of the dead. Do we have any weapons in here at all? Scales of Thoth. Leave Devor. Eltdown shards. At last, the sword of Saint Jerome. So, item, weapon, magical, gain +2 will and +5 strength when resolving combat encounters. If you defeat a monster during a combat encounter, recover 1 sanity. So, very good. We did get an artifact at the end of the day, so we'll put that with his Winchester rifle, and I'll put this back. This deck back. There we go. And I believe that is it for Carson. Next up, it will be Preston. And here we are with Preston. Of course, what I forgot was I was going to need that deck for a Tokyo encounter, so I've had to get it out again. No matter. Again, we've brought up those funky dice that have been doing so well for us, and what we're going to do is have ourselves a Tokyo encounter. So we will cut the deck and turn it the right way up. Tokyo. You learn that the original sword, Kusanagi no Tsurgyori, was lost. Apologies to any Japanese viewers for my appalling pronunciation of that. You search historical texts to locate it. Law test. We don't want a law test, we want a bloody influence test. What's his law? His law is 3. Does he have anything that will help him? No, no. Oh! No, that's spell effects, the Mystic Bounty Hunter, that's not going to help us. Hitman is just hitting people on the head. No. No, I think it's just going to be a straight law test. And there's no bonus or penalty, so he's going to get to roll 3 dice. So, come on Preston. Let's have a win. And we do get a success, we get a 5. So that's good. And if you pass, you find a lead. Gain 1 treasure map unique asset. Okay, not brilliant. I wanted to get rid of a couple more of these monsters just for chucks, but it wasn't to be. And because it's a treasure map unique asset, I'm going to have to search through that horrendously large deck, so I won't be a moment and then I'll be back. And I'm back. Now there are more than one of these, but I just picked the first one I came across. Doesn't really matter because I don't think we're going to get to flip it over anyway. So when we gain this card from the deck, place one random clue face up on this card. After resolving a location encounter or an expedition encounter on that space, we flip the card. So, get another clue. I don't think there's many left. There's only about 3 left. Yeah, and we get... Where's this? Space 8. So, way over in the Caribbean. I don't think we'll be going over there. So, we'll put that on its player tray. And that is it for Preston. So, next up, we're going back down to space 21 and a couple of wilderness encounters with Daniela, then Agatha. And here we are with, first of all, it's going to be Daniela. Right, I got rid of them other dice. They were starting to let me down, so I just kept that 5. And let's hope that keeps rolling well. Alright, so generic wilderness encounter coming up. Flip it over. Wilderness. A family of cannibals traps you in their ramshackle hut. Test strength. Oh, you don't want to be testing strength with Daniela. All you cannibals are in for a bit of a laugh. So she has a strength of 4. And there must be tons of stuff that help her. She's got loads of stuff. So, but do they help her? Oh, we'll just do a straight test because she's blessed as well. Gil had a good idea about reminding about people being blessed. I think what I'll do, I won't do it in this playthrough because it's too far gone, but I'll start using my stands. So if we've got an investigator who's blessed, I'll use a blue stand. Similarly, got an investigator that's cursed, then I'll use a red stand, and that hopefully will help me remember. But good idea there from Gil. But we've got a test strength. She's got a strength of 4, and it was 5, wasn't it? She impaired it to get rid of that blight, but we're blessed, we're blessed. So 4 blessed dice, need a 4 or better, and we got a 6, so we only just did it because we got 2s and 1s apart from that. If you pass, you break free and leave with an item that belonged to one of their previous victims. Gain 1 random magical asset from the deck. So it's just an asset, it's not a unique asset. And, oh, leave that here. Get rid of that one. And so it's just a magical asset from the deck. So we'll just go, we'll give it a cut as normal, and then we'll just go through from the bottom until we get something with magical written on it. Trinket relic, but it doesn't say magical, so we can't have that. That's a service, that's an ally. Pocket watch is a trinket, a good one as well. Trinket tome, come on, something with magical written on it. I want to be here all day. So, item, magical relic weapon, a time-worn brand with a cost of 1, gain +1 strength during combat encounters. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during combat encounter. So she finds a time-worn brand, very good. I shall just shuffle this deck again, seeing as we've seen about 20 of them before we found the time-worn brand. Right. Having done that, put it back in its holder. Great stuff. Time-worn brand goes over to Daniela. Pop that there. And well done to her from escaping from the cannibals. We'll get rid of these blessed dice as well. Good-o. Right, that's it for Daniela. Next up is Agatha. And here we are with Agatha. There she is in the outback. And she's just killed the Haunter of the Dark, and she's going to have another encounter. So we'll do another cut. And what's going to happen? Wilderness. In the night, a creature made of living shadow attacks you. You struggle to throw it in the campfire before it can hurt you. Test strength. It would be bloody strength, wouldn't it? So she's got a clue anyway, so that might help her. Put that there. That's a possible re-roll. And we're testing strength. Don't think there is anything that particularly helps us strength-wise. No, there isn't. Her strength is 2, which isn't great, but she gets to roll 2 dice. Where did that... Oh, that 5 that I kept. I've chucked it back in with the rest of them. I don't know which one it is. Right, I just picked 2 out. Come on, Agatha, you can do it. You've got to re-roll a 5. Yes. Must have picked it up. So, she did pass. If you fail, it leaves you... It didn't fail. So, she chucked it in the fire. Great stuff. Okay, so that is Agatha. She survives the encounter phase. I'll put this deck back. Hopefully for the last time. And that is it for the encounter phase. So now all that remains is the mythos phase. And here we are at the mythos phase. Dun, dun, dun. Stage 3 of the mythos. So I think there's 4 yellow and 2 green cards. So we're probably going to get a yellow. Okay, right. So nothing else for it. Oh, she didn't use a clue, did she? I'll put that back to Agatha. And right, let's just turn it over and see what happens. We do indeed get a yellow card, so it's a reckoning. So first of all, no tentacles though. No snowflakes either, but no tentacles. So we get omen movements. Awesome. So that moves on to a green comet. We do have a green comet at San Francisco. So our doom moves down to 7, but we've kept that in control pretty much all game. We've done okay there. Then it is, yes, it is reckoning fun. So get my handy reference card. Resolve reckoning. Effects on components in this order. Monsters. Right, star spawn. There's nothing on the cultist. There is something on the sham though. We'll do the sham first because it's the nearest clue. It's, yes, discard the nearest clue. What's the nearest clue to Rome? It's probably 1-2 to Heart of Africa. 1-2 to Space 16. So either one of those. We'll take the Heart of Africa because it's easier to reach. So he's gobbled up that clue. Next we've got the star spawn. And I think this is just a roll, isn't it? To see if doom goes down by 1. Yeah, a 1 or a 2. We'll pick up that 5. Rolls a 3 this time, but that's good enough, so we don't lose any doom. That is excellent. We do have the cultist, but the cultist doesn't have a reckoning with Nyarlathotep. Speaking of whom, put that back down. Nyarlathotep is next. That is 2 Eldritch tokens. We're just going to pop those onto Agatha. So she ends up with 4 Eldritch tokens. But she could take 7, so that's fine. So that's Nyarlathotep done. Then it is Mythos cards. We have no rumours in play, that's good. Possessions and conditions. So we start with Carson. I don't think he's got anything with a reckoning. He does not, he's fine. We can move on to our friend Preston. He has nothing with a reckoning either. Got rid of his funding condition, so that's cool. Then we have the lovely Daniela. She's got a blessed condition. Does she have anything else? No, she doesn't, so she's just rolling for a blessed condition. Can she stay blessed? Can she stay blessed? So it was that one, wasn't it? Well, we don't want a 1 or a 2. A 3 like last time would be amazing. We get a 2. Oh, she couldn't stay blessed. So we have to get rid of that. What was on the other side? Oh, could have improved a skill. Oh, very nice. Right, anyway, that goes back. Where is it? Where are they? They are. Righteous and all those. So that's a bit of a bummer. I would have liked to have a stay blessed for till the end of the game, but that's the way it goes. After that, it is Agatha, and she's got loads to roll for. Nasty stuff too. So we've got the Promise of Power and the Dark Pact, and we've got all these. So we'll do the glamours first. So it's all test laws and test law tests and test law tests. They're all law tests, and we can use the grotesque compendium on all of them. So it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We just have to count the successes. First, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alter Fate was the first one. 6 successes. By glancing through the time, you're able to prepare for the future, improve one skill of your choice. She will improve her strength. So her strength goes up to 3. Nice way to end. Let's roll all of these again. Glad these dice have finally started coming around and rolling some successes. So what's next up? Enchant Weapon is next up. And that's 1, 2, 3 successes. Yes, weapons ripple with arcane power, but there's no additional effects. That's good. Nothing bad happened. After that, we have Enchanting Grace. Come on. Up you go. 10 dice. 10 dice. There we go. 1, 2, 3 successes again. That should be okay. Yeah, 2+. You act with grace in all of your movements. And we don't lose any health. Brilliant. That done, we now move on to the real fun stuff. We'll keep those 6s and that 5. Just in case. Don't think we're only rolling 1 die now. Should we do, let's do the Promise of Power first. We've got to roll a die. On a 6, our patience has been rewarded, so let's take this 6. Will our patience be rewarded? It isn't. We get a 1, but I'm glad I rolled it on the Promise of Power and not the other one. We're certainly not going to roll that again. So we didn't get this. I'll leave that out, because after I've just done the Dark Pact, we'll have a look what was on the other side. So Dark Pact, what we don't want is a 1. We get a 2. Ooh, that was close. Right. We'll leave those out. We'll have a look at those after we finish the rest. So that is it for... Yes, Agatha was our last investigator, wasn't she? So that is it for the reckonings. Then we get a gate. The gate is the heart of Africa. Plonk that there. We get a gate. We get a monster. But not for long, because we're going to defeat everything very shortly. What do we get? Another 4 toughness monster. A moon beast. Oh. So that was -1 will test for the horror check. 2 successes or lose sanity. -1 strength test for the combat test. 3 successes or you lose health. And you may discard 1 item possession instead of resolving the strength test. Yeah, but you still take 3 damage, wouldn't you? Or would you? Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Anyway, Moon Beast. That goes to the heart of Africa. And as I say, it's probably not going to stay there very long. Whoop. Oh, just messing about with my backdrop. Okay, done that. So, and it's a red sunburst gate, Heart of Africa, so that wasn't too bad. We're currently at a green comet, so we'd have had a few turns even with this. Okay, so that's done. Now we just read the rest of the Mythos card. The Dark Intelligence somehow embedded its maliciousness in its own stories. Little by little, these stories have crept into your mind, poisoning you. Curse of knowledge. Event. Each investigator discards half of his clues. So, I think we round that up. So that means that Agatha loses her clue. She was the only one who had any clues. Then the lead investigator gains a cursed condition. Oh, Daniela, unlucky. But, if it's any consolation, Daniela, you have won the game with your compatriots. But let's do it correctly. Get the bane conditions out. Do a cut, and then first cursed condition, cursed. So she's cursed. After all that time. So she wouldn't have ended with a blessed condition. Anyway, that curse would have counteracted it if she still had it. But a pity she ended up cursed. She's been quite a good member of the team, has Daniela. Right, and that is it. That is the end of the Mythos phase. We've defeated the Haunter in the Dark. We have completed the mystery. When 2 mysteries have been solved, the investigators win the game. And we have won the game. So, great news. Put the reference card back. Pop up there. We have managed to win the game with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards left. Shall we have a quick look what they were? Hideous Apparitions, Buying Information, Evil Never Sleeps, A Brief Respite, Haunting Nightmares. So not too bad. 1 tentacle card. We did have a couple of snowflake cards coming in. So not too bad. Let's have a look at the Promise of Power. What would this have given us? Flip it over. You cannot imagine how, but the tears in reality have begun to disappear. The wounds in time and space have healed. Discard each monster on a space containing a gate, then discard all the gates on the game board, then discard this card. So that's really good. It's really good. It's not worth taking a dark pact for, because dark pacts are as horrendous as this is good, but that'd have been good. And the dark pact, so if we'd have failed this, what would have happened to Agatha? Pact with Ibon. In your time of need, the man had offered you great power, but now he introduces himself again as the wizard Ibon. It is clear that his goal does not align with your own. Shuffle 1 yellow and 1 green Mythos card from the game box into the Mythos deck, then discard the top 3 cards of the Mythos deck, then discard this card. Well, as far as these go, that's quite tame. But you do lose a round, because even though you put a green and yellow in the deck, you lose 3. So essentially you do lose a round. So yeah, nasty. Nasty, but not as nasty as they can be. But it didn't come to fruition, so who cares? Because despite everything, all these disappeared, all these monsters go, because Nyarlathotep has been sent back to his slumber, or wherever he came from. And we have managed to win the game. So yes, brilliant. Really nice playing Eldritch Horror again. Really like this game. It's a good game. It's got in a way, it's got quite a good balance. There is a certain amount of railroading with it because of the mysteries, which they do increase theme, but I'm not a big fan of railroading. But at least this game, very similar to the LCG, they do it correctly. So while there is a bit of railroading, you still got plenty of player agency. And that player agency, that's the thing really when you're playing one of these games. I like to feel a bit free, and I like to be able to approach each mystery or each challenge. You know, I like to have at least, you know, the illusion of thinking that I've got a bit of free will in it, and I can actually, you know, affect the outcome of the game by my actual decisions and actions. And in Eldritch Horror does it really well. Same in the LCG, which is a lot more scripted because it's a lot more like a story, the actual Arkham Horror, the card game. But again, in that, not only is that's helped by the fact that the story's so good. So the story's really good, and because it's in small chunks, you know, the cycle, it's sort of split into 6. So you get 6 little scenarios in there, and you've got a short but punchy challenge that you've got to complete. There's a goal, and it's not too long or too convoluted, and because of that you don't really notice the railroading that's in there, and you do get plenty of choices while you're actually playing it. Unlike, yes, 3rd edition of Arkham Horror, which is basically pandemic, and you're just firefighting in that all the time, and it takes away from the story because you're running around trying to clean up Doom all the time. You've got the story is what you want to be doing. That's the whole reason why you're doing it. And going away and having to deal with something like Doom all the time, it's annoying. It takes away from the story. And I was thinking about this the other day, and it's because Doom is so abstract in 3rd edition. They just call it Doom to make it sound really thematic, like, oh, it's Doom. But there's no narrative behind it. It's just a token that's called Doom, and it's stuck on the board, and you've got to go and try and get rid of it. Whereas the things that are thrown up in the LCG or Eldritch Horror or Arkham Horror 2nd edition have their own narrative behind them. So having to close the gates have their own narrative. You go there, you have a gate encounter, and you try and shut it. The monsters are just monsters, aren't they? They're in your way, you've got to kill them, or ignore them, or sneak past them, or whatever you have to do. So they speak for themselves, they don't need a particular narrative. But some of the monsters have a particular narrative, it's on the back, you know, how, like the Shan will start eating clues. So they have their own thematic thing where when they're a menace, they're getting in your way, they're stopping you from winning the game, but they're doing so in a narrative fashion. Whereas Doom in Arkham Horror 3rd edition isn't. It's just an annoyance without any narrative behind it. So you're just cleaning up tokens off the board, and it's crap. And that's why that's why I don't like it. You know, if things are going to get in your way, at least give them a narrative reason for getting in your way. So, right, we've got to get rid of these gates. The gates increase Doom, which, as soon as it gets to 0, we're going to lose the game. But there is the actual otherworld encounter that you have to do when you're closing the gate. So it becomes part of the story. Yes, it's trying to stop you winning, but with a narrative element to it. You don't just say, oh right, I've got to go to Arkham because there's a token there that I've got to try and pick up. You don't get any sort of thematic narrative at all with it. You just like go, you do a ward roll. If you succeed, you can get rid of some of them. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Whereas Eldritch, it does well on the theme, Eldritch, you know, with all of the mysteries. I've talked about this before during games of Eldritch Horror. The mysteries and stuff. There's a certain amount of railroading, as I've already discussed, but at least they do it in a thematic manner, similar to the LCG. Whereas 2nd edition, it has very little by way of theming it up. You're essentially, what you've got to do in 2nd edition is make it up yourself. I love that. I love it being completely freeform, and I love making up my own stories. But I can understand why some people don't. You know, they prefer to have the game do it for them. 2nd edition has it in, obviously you've got to read the mythos cards and stuff like that. They have the narrative. You still have the otherworld encounters and things like that, which will give you that narrative, and it's just up to you then to weave your own story around that. And I love that. I'm a role player, so I absolutely love that. But I can see why some people don't. Yeah. But with 3rd edition, it's almost as if the Doom mechanism is trying to stop you getting into the story, if that makes any sense. Running around clearing up Doom all the time without it having a significant story element to it, it's just like, oh right, I've got to do this boring bit of dice rolling to try and get rid of these tokens. Otherwise, like, I can't get on with the story. It gets in the way. Anyway, I've gone on about that enough. As far as this actual game went, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was a bit rusty. I was very rusty. Got a few things wrong. But you know what? I'd have got a few things wrong anyway, so who cares? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the story. It was very good. I like Nyarlathotep as a an ancient one. I think it's good. The adventure cards work very well. They were a bit railroady as well, but not too bad. Not too bad. The two we picked out, there was the Pyramids one, which was the Tomb of Nitocris, and the City Beneath the Sand. They went in sort of a similar way. The second part of those adventures, where you were getting Eldritch tokens to put on the card, they were very similar. But other than that, it was good, and I enjoyed it. Our new investigators, once again, performed magnificently. If anybody's ever doing an Eldritch horror game, and you're playing a particular expansion, if you want to make that expansion a little bit easier, use the investigators from the expansion. You will notice that they are specifically tooled up and skilled up for the ancient ones in that particular expansion. I've been doing it for, Mountains of Madness and for, Under the Pyramids, Dreamlands, this expansion. I've done it because obviously I want to show you the new investigators, and that has contributed to the ease of some of these playthroughs. The investigators do have specific talents and skills and abilities that do lend themselves to the particular ancient ones in the box expansion that they're from. So if you do want to make your games a little bit easier, do consider using investigators from the same expansion, as it will help you against those particular ancient ones. And these guys were really good. I'm very pleased we were able to keep the Eldritch tokens down, though I think Agatha helped there. There was a particular card or something, she got a particular encounter that she had, and she was able to get rid of all of her Eldritch tokens, and that really helped. One thing I noticed during the game, if you want to keep your Eldritch tokens down, give yourself a chance of getting rid of them, do research encounters. It seems to me that research encounters are the ones which allow you to get rid of Eldritch tokens. A word of warning, it also seems like the research encounters are the ones that like to give you extra Eldritch tokens. But if you put your investigators who are good at picking up clues onto that sort of job, hopefully they will be able to keep their Eldritch tokens down, and then when you get the reckonings, you can put Nyarlathotep's 2 Eldritch tokens back onto them, and that will help you manage it during the game. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? Not particularly. So I hope you enjoyed the Masks of Nyarlathotep Eldritch Horror. I certainly did, so brilliant. Nice to get back into a bit of the Arkham files, which goes to remind me, what is my next playthrough going to be? My next playthrough is going to be an old favourite. Yes, I'm going back to Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. One, because I just want to have a lot of fun with it, and I'm missing it, and in fact playing Eldritch Horror made me realise like I'm missing it like mad. I didn't want to play 2nd Edition right after sort of 3rd Edition. I wanted to get a couple of other games in between, and just sort of rinse it out of my system before I went back to 2nd Edition. So I'll go back to 2nd Edition. I'm going to be doing the playthroughs by Gil, and you might have noticed Gil, he's done a few comments on the Eldritch Horror playthrough. That's Wolfpack 48, by the way, and he's done some thematic scenarios very much like Kung Fro. What it allows you to do, I mean, they call them scenarios, but after Eldritch Horror and Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, I call them more, what would I call them? A framework more than a scenario. Basically, it just says what monsters to use, what particular ancient one to use, what boards, and whether you need to mess around with the Mythos deck a bit, take a few cards out, suggested investigators for a certain scenario. He says using the word he just said he shouldn't use anymore. A certain framework. And yes, it tightens up on what Arkham Horror's 2nd Edition theme problem was, which was, you know, it all got a bit all in and all together, and it was difficult to get a coherent thematic narrative out of it. So I'll be playing those. I think there are 10 of those. I don't know which one yet. I think it'll either be Heatwave or Tendrils from Below, and Gil's recommended those, so I'll pick one of those and we'll do that, and hopefully we'll have a whale of a time. So that'll be a bit yet, so perhaps the next couple of weeks I'll get round to that. But thank you for watching Eldritch Horror and the Masks of Nyarlathotep. It's been a blast. Thank you for watching, thank you for the views, thank you for the subscriptions, for the likes, for the dislikes, and thank you for all the help and support. You've been amazing, thank you. If you've been across the board game links to upvote the site, thanks very much. Similarly, BGG, any comments over there, likes of the video threads, Geek Gold, anything like that, you're most kind, thank you very much. Again, if I've made an error during this last turn, tough. We've won. Only key, please mention it, put it in the comments below. It'll let any later viewers know what I did wrong, and hopefully it won't be game changing. I think we're alright. Anything I might have missed be a minor problem, I think, but I think the actual killing of the Haunter of the Dark and everything went fine. Hopefully it went fine, but as I say, any mistakes please let me know, and let others know who will be watching the video after you. Right, so I think that is it for Eldritch Horror and Masks of Nyarlathotep, and all that is left is for me to bid you adieu. So, toodaloo.